Hello all, welcome to Q&A, which I've got to jump on this week because I finished halfway on Friday because of the child's birthday, because apparently 25th is a big birthday. I thought it was 21, 30, 40, 50, but what do I know? It's going on for 3 weeks. So we got family coming down this week. Last week was her mates. This week we got family coming down. Next week, her and Dave are off to the Edinburgh Fringe. So I thought, well, getting it done early because we've got people coming down for the weekend. Who knows? I might even get a weekend off. No, I'll be running around doing stuff. Yeah, and it's a short one as well. Not too many things to do, but obviously I shall do my best to endeavour to try and get them out in more detail as we've got a bit more time. So on we go. Starting off with a plea on behalf of the needy. That's me. Now, I've said before, I do these videos for the other channel, the Circuit channel. We'll do a link. If I can link to the channel, if not, I'll link to one of their videos. And it's kind of, it's related. It's kind of courier stuff, although it tends to be aimed more at the multi-drop mob than the light haulage mob. But there's still some decent videos on there, like how to save money on diesel and how to sort of, interesting ways, you know, how to park when you're in trouble. That's quite a good one. There's a few on there, please check them out. And they pay me, which I've said also before. This mob don't pay me. You get the Google ads, that's it. But they pay me, and that helps to have Friday afternoons off to make these videos. And they've asked me to do one. They've asked me to do 6, but the other 5 I can do. But one of them they want me to do is the best GPS mileage tracking app for delivery drivers. Tips for using mileage tracking apps to save time and money. I don't use a mileage tracking app. I've never used a mileage tracking app. So what I can do, of course, is I can go on Google and I can read some articles and I can read up about it and I go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Well, maybe I should get one. And then I think, well, alternatively, we can ask the wise guys, can't we? We can ask the wise guys, any of you out there using a mileage tracking app, what are the advantages of mileage tracking app? How can I use one to save time and money? And maybe with your help and a bit of Google, I'll have enough to stick a video up together and I can whack it off there and long may it continue. On the subject of the wise guys, Gnatus Nick says, excuse me, but who are the wise guys you constantly mention? Gnatus, is that how you say it? Gintantas, I think. They're you, mate. They're you and they're people like you. They're people who watch the channel, like Nick the Urban Trucker or Longfinger or C11 Yan, people who've been in the industry a long time, or just people out there, just courier drivers like you guys, like, what's his name? Like Van on the Run, who's got his own channel out there. People that are out there that doing it and go, yeah, I know what's happened, I've seen that situation before and I know how to solve it, so we share. We're kind of a workers' cooperative. We share the information amongst ourselves to help us and others like us. So you are the wise guys. So if anyone's done a mileage tracking app, and if you could tell me the tips, the best ones, I use this one. Does it save time? Does it save money? And I can then go on and do my other video, and then I'd have to spend forever trawling through Google. Much appreciated. Also, quickly on the introduction, well, I put it on the introduction on because I don't know why. Longfinger says you should do, on the subject of people helping people, you should do a collab video with Big Beardy sometime. And I'll be honest with you, I thought about it myself. I'll come to that conclusion. Now, again, I'll level with you. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I think I subscribe to 6 people, and that's because one of them's a child, the family member, and 2 of them are mates. You do get a bit of time when you're on break sometimes to watch YouTube, but I've normally got other bits and pieces to do. And I've always said when I get home of a night time after courier driving all weekend and then doing things about the courier driving on Saturday morning like this, the last thing I really want to watch is videos about people courier driving. I've kind of had my fill, but I know he's out there. I don't subscribe to him for the only reason that I don't subscribe to anybody, and he doesn't subscribe to me, and I'm sure for no particular reason whatsoever. But it would be interesting to meet the guy. So if you are a big beardy person as well, or you're with the guy, and so Pete says, I'm more than happy to meet him one day, and we'll sit down and have a chat. And I was watching I do occasionally come across it. He was doing something, trying to help other people, trying to set up a website thing. I mean, if I'm happy to plug it. I don't know anything about this stuff, but yeah. So he can't be far away. I think it's Birmingham, isn't he? I think he sounds a bit Birmingham. But then he probably could sound Newcastle. My sense of accents is rubbish. So, but yeah, if you know Big Beardy or you're in with Big Beardy, and say Pete says, if you ever fancy getting together and doing a video, and we'll either stick it on my channel or his channel or both channels, or I haven't really given it an awful lot of thought, but yeah, I'm up for it. Speak to the guy, speak to anyone, I don't mind. So, videos. What do we do this week? Pimp My Ride. We did that last week. I'm trying to get one of these kind of life on the road videos out every week. They take a lot of time to edit. Fortunately, I'm getting quicker, and I've got Friday afternoon, which means when I finish this, I can start editing the video that's going to come out in like 2 or 3 weeks' time, because you've got to get ahead of the game, otherwise you have a busy week and you're stuffed. Which is on the Commonwealth Games. Did the Commonwealth Games? That was interesting. Did a lot of prisons as well. I'd like to do one on prisons, but I've got a sneaking suspicion they probably wouldn't take too kindly to me filming going in and out of prison, so I don't. You've got to be wary about what you film, couldn't you, really, like, you know? So, but, yes, I did one of these Life on the Road videos, Pimp My Ride, which basically just shows me spraying the sides and the wheels silver. Which I think was better, but that's just me. Steve at SDC Services said, God loves a trier. You've got to be a Vosen magnet. I think it probably looks better. I'm trying to tidy it up a little bit. I am trying to, you know, like I say, the bars aren't bent and buckled now. They're the right colour now. The bit where the step by fiberglass, that's been done properly now. We do maintain the vehicles, and we did have a bit of a result in the fact that Harry got a random spot check this week and got a clean bill of health. No reason why he shouldn't. The guy come up to me. He said they were looking for something. They were looking for something to get me on. The guy come up to me and he said, you weren't wearing your seatbelt. And Harry said, officer, I was wearing my seatbelt. He said, I didn't see you wearing your seatbelt. He said, officer, I take wearing my seatbelt very clearly. He said, well, I would have seen a red band across this Mercedes, and it's got a red seatbelt. It's got a red seat. He said, I was wearing my seatbelt, officer. He said, I'm going to go back and check my video. But if I check my video, you make me go back and check my video, and I find out you've not been wearing your seatbelt, I'm not going to be happy with you. And Harry said, you better go and check your video then, hadn't you? You'll be fine. Went back to the video. Harry said, well, he said, I couldn't see you. It's from the side. So I must have got him from the side and pulled him over. I don't know. But we got a clean bill of health. So that's going to help with our OCRS score, which is something Daniel I'll get onto. I will do that. But yeah, hopefully we try and run. You know, I tried everything. I even put the paddock truck on a chock and then strap it down with one of those extendable ratchet straps, because they can go, it's on a chock, it needs to be strapped. It's not good enough. Honestly, we're on it as best as I possibly can. Having said that, normally if they want something to find you, something to get you on, they will. I suppose it depends on how far they want to go, but we try and run. If you run as clean as you can, you minimise the chances of it happening. Tall Man Small Van says, you're giving Banksy a run for his money there, Pete. I'm not. The wife is the drawer. She draws some fantastic pictures. We do it all over the house. I have to show you some sometimes. She's absolutely phenomenal. Me, rubbish. Utter rubbish. As you can see, I can't even spray a wheel straight, so there you go. And Andy Darwin says, it would have been quicker and easier to take the wheel off. LOL. It would have been, no, it wouldn't. Because not only am I rubbish at art, I'm also rubbish at mechanics. Chances are it would have taken me half a day to take the wheels off. Clean them, yeah, no, so, but it's done now, so anyway, and I say that's that video over and done with. So, this week's video, different booking times in relation to price, which has got quite a few views, actually, and I think it kind of is important. I've been updating my videos. There'll be one coming up next week on how much I think you should be quoting at the moment. Try to get a bit of an insight on it. I've got to be honest, that was tricky. But yeah, so there might be a few coming up which I've done before, but updated versions, because they're 3 years old. And it's kind of, there's a shelf life on these things, so that's going to go out next week for you. Yeah, in relation to price, Ian McKenzie says, about the snake and the frog story. That's the thing about evolution, why frogs are really poisonous. It's not a story, it's true. I saw it on the Hannah Fry Master Life, or I heard it on Master Life on Lauren Laverne on Six Music. And it's to do with why poisonous frogs are really, really poisonous. It was an arms race between them and snakes. I do know a story about a frog and a scorpion. Well, it might be a duck and a scorpion. Probably doesn't really matter either way. That is a story, because as far as I know, frogs don't speak duck or scorpion. But I won't tell you the story anyway. You've probably heard it's a fable, one of them Aesop guys. But Jeremy Hawke says, coming to it, he says, spot on, Pete. He said, we have a customer base covering the whole of the southwest peninsula. due to the lack of demand, because it's tough to get a job out there. But if you're the man, they're going to ring you. Well done, you, Jeremy. Due to lack of demand, lack of courier companies, we can normally do a 2.5 hour window in West Cornwall. However, most of our customers plan ahead and book in advance. Urgent jobs in Plymouth and Exeter happen, but not so much in the sticks. If I was working out of the Midlands or the South East, I would definitely avoid here, Wales and Scotland. Yeah, it's a different kind of... I suppose the people in rural areas have to learn to adapt in the fact that their version of the hurry up, it's not the same version of the hurry up as someone in London or Milton Keynes. You know, it's when I'm in Luton, I want to ring a taxi. I go around my mate's house, we're going down the pub. You ring a taxi, it's outside the door in 3 minutes. If I ring a taxi where I live in the village, 20 minutes. Because there ain't no taxis in Luton. They're going round, they're buzzing round and round all the time. There'll be an empty one 3 streets away. So I guess it is just, horses for courses, isn't it, really? Van on the Run also says, on the outskirts of Wales, like he said, because he does the tramping thing, he says, I find one of the advantage of being a tramper is the ability to charge a high rate for late deliveries, usually shop fitters. He said, I do more than my fair share of them. Usually the time between collection and delivery is a fair bit more than the journey time, so I get paid for waiting around when I'll be doing this anyway if I didn't have the job. I just have my dinner close to the drop-off before then hitting the sack. I know what he's saying. You might have to collect it at 1 o'clock and then it needs to be delivered to the shippers at 7 o'clock because they have to wait for the shops to shut before the fitters can go in. I've had drop-offs before at 10 o'clock at night. And so I've got there 7, 8 o'clock and then just put my head down for 3 hours. This was when I was in Luton. Got the job off and then came home. But it kind of helped and it did the kind of thing. You will get more money. I think one of the most lucrative jobs I ever got was Leeds to Caerphilly Castle, picking up in Leeds at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, had to be delivered out to the Superdrug out because A, you're going to the middle of nowhere, and B, you're going to the middle of nowhere late. It was, it was a 200-mile job in a 7.5 ton truck. I bid them 600 quid and it came through instantly. I thought, well, for that money, I'm going to do it. So, yeah, I do get it. It's be aware of your times, be aware of your destinations, be aware of how many people there are around you. It will affect the amount of money you're quoting. So, this week on the Wise Guys, we've got... Oh, also, I've got to bear in mind, on the tramping thing, there was a thing on the tramping thing. Darren Cambridge. He said, nice chap, thank you, Darren. He said, didn't mention tramping on the books. Darren, that's because I don't know what tramping on the books is. So once again, Wise Guys, if you anyone out there knows what tramping on the books is, please let me know. So Van on the Run, Wise Guys, and we're on the Wise Guys now anyway, incidentally. So also had a comment from Michael Forward on this one. He says, thanks for the video, Pete. He says, right now, he said, I'm a newbie. He said, each time I've tried to enter my driver's card face down and the chip on top, the tachograph acknowledges my name before ejecting it on error 28, meaning no card entered. Where am I going wrong? I don't know, because when I put my card in, I put it down with my photograph face down, the chip facing forward. I assume you've got the chip on top. Is your chip facing into the machine, or is the chip facing you? There's a possibility that you've got the chip facing you, in which case you want the chip on top and turn it around and press it in. Otherwise, I don't know the answer to that, but if you guys do, let us know. I'll get back to Michael. I'll have to do that in the comments, actually, so you might I'll hopefully solve the problem by now. But yeah, so that could be the answer. I don't know the answer to that one. So, right, trucks. What have we got on trucks this week? Dale Steele says, all right. He said, if an HGV ever fails an MOT, you're in big trouble because it means you haven't maintained it yet. Well, you're right, Dale, but there is a yes and no feature to this, because we have had one of the trucks fail once. Mark did the PMI in it, done it all, got it ready for test, and he did miss something major. I don't quite know. He'd done it with some pipe or something. I say major, not major, but it was like a leak or something like that. But normally they sail through. But you've got to bear in mind that you can PMI the you can get that lorry utterly ready for test, and I can get it ready for test at the yard, and my test yard is what? 3 miles, 5 miles from my base. So I can drive it from just outside Dunstable into the middle of Dunstable, and during that time something could fail. A bulb could pop. You know, that's your most likely one. And also they can get you on headlight alignment. You do your best to align the headlights. They go, no, your headlights are out. which normally you're allowed to jump out and adjust it as long as you know how to. But it depends what it's failing on. If it fails on the fact it's got 4 ball tyres, the steel mesh is coming through and it's got no brakes, that's a major fail. If it fails because it's got a side indicator bulb has gone out, you can go, oh, it's just gone out. You know, there is an allowance depending on what it is. As it was, Veronica passed, which is cool. Next one to go through is Harry's the Merc. That's got to go through next month. And we had a couple of questions also from Big Beeps. He says, does the HX, is it give you the job price and is it only one way? Yeah, it's like the CX, mate. It's basically designed as a backload site, which means you get your normal customer's job to take you out to wherever. And then when you get to out to wherever, you can use the kind of radar to zone in on a job wherever it may be. So I get Dunstable so I might have to go to Bournemouth or Cornwall or sort of Lincoln. And then when I'm in Lincoln, I'll look for a local job, bringing me back in the area. That's the whole basis of it. Although you can use it and we do still use it to get quite a lot of our work off. And the thing is, by that way, you fall in with people, so that works. Also, he says, about an Arctic local bare minimum job, what do you charge? We're on the Wise Guys again here. I don't know, but you don't get a lot of trailer work. You don't get a lot of tractor work, rather. You need your own trailer, and I believe that a trailer load sells for around about 500 quid. So if you literally are in with a trailer, I don't know, 20 odd pallets, pick them up, take them somewhere, I believe you're looking at around about 500 quid. I could be wrong. It also depends, like we said earlier on, like difference. If suddenly someone's Arctic has failed and they need one in a hurry up, I have known people get £750 for a job going 35 miles because they needed the 24 pallets moved and they needed them moved right now, and he happened to be sitting 10 minutes around the corner. So I'll be in there, get him on. It's like, we'll pay whatever, because if we don't, the load spoils and we've lost the whole lot. So it's not an exact science to it. I've always said I wish I could give you a graph telling you exactly what here, there and there, and if you're at this time charge this much money. Doesn't work that way. So, but yeah, that's what I believe. Once again, if I'm wrong, guys, I'm sure you'll put me right. And that takes us straight into the miscellaneous, of which we've only got a couple of this week, which was A says, oh, it's on transport managers. This is interesting, this. He said, I've been a transport manager. I've been a driver for 20 years and recently became a TM, a transport manager, which was a massive change from what I was used to. But then I was one of the guys who said, look at them sitting in their ivory tower doing absolutely nothing and going home same time every night. But let me tell you, I have learned this isn't the case, and it is much more involving than I ever expected. I get that. There's an awful lot to it. I mean, the exam for transport manager, they say it's got a 17% pass rate, and the book to do it is like that. I may well do it one day. I always think if I ever get in the office, it'd be worth me doing a transport manager job. Daniel might get bigger. He might not be able to look after us anymore. You don't know. But I think also it depends who you're serving. I think hopefully, whereas the way I work with Daniel is I try to give him as little grief as possible. I make sure that everything is in place. I've got the online calendar now. I've got the what you have, the wall chart, and I'm reading the cards all the time. I'm reading the taco heads all the time. I'm making sure that the boys don't infringe all the time. So he doesn't have that much to do. But if you're one of those guys that's having to sort of make sure they're not bringing their vehicles in when they should, and this guy's infringed and that guy's infringed and that's not working, then I think you could well be in a world of pain. But then hopefully they're the kind of people you don't want to work for anyway. So, but mate, good luck. I hope it sort of evolves and settles down for you. And the final word this week goes for Steve Campbell, because I said did the video about running with people in the cab. Steve says I'm going to be running with quite a few people from September because I think he's going to drive a bus. I'm not sure if you got your PSV or not, Steve, but the continuing life of Steve Campbell as it evolves. So, and also the continuing life of Godzilla's, who might be driving electric lorries by now, who knows? But yeah, so that's it. Like I say, short one this week, guys, because there just wasn't that much. I'm going to get this one, get it all done. Don't forget, we got the podcast as well. So if you want to listen to it in your driving, type Pete the Courier Driver in. It's on Spotify and Audible and Apple, I think, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to get that one done, and I'll go back to editing Commonwealth Games, coming to a YouTube channel near you soon. Well, my channel. And I'm going to enjoy my weekend. I'm going to have fun. And then on Monday, taco head on Monday, and then off to prison again. Time to take care. Take money.